alive between two Bobs. Oh, it seems old. Bugsy, it's a little dark in here. All right, so hello, Crime Stoppers. It's been a minute just because I've been making videos on Facebook and doing other stuff and working on my math and playing around there. And I haven't really had time or inclination to come here and rant about current events because current events are so insane at the moment. The war pigs are completely out of control. And now we've got the Trumpinators trying to say that they weren't betrayed. This is not a war for apple juice. This needed to happen. He's playing 5D chess. He's and see, these motherfuckers always hide behind incompetence. Starting on day one. Oh, we didn't know that it was a school, and we didn't know we were double tapping. Okay, first off, double tapping is a war crime. Right off the bat, double tap is a war crime. So when you hit the first responders, that's a war crime. Okay, since like World War I, you fucks. All right, Geneva Conventions, and this country pays no attention to Geneva. Group punishment, that's a thing in pretty much every fucking jail in the United States, which is right. So two guys fuck up the whole, what do they call it? The whole pod or the whole bay or whatever gets punished. Not bombing civilian infrastructure. Yeah, because bombing civilian infrastructure is absolutely a war crime. When it doesn't have any, like, okay, bridges you can argue because, yeah, you got to move troops from A to B and civilians use it, but so does military. Okay, okay. But power plants where there's no military base anywhere near, schools, hospitals. Okay, the Red Cross was supposed to protect you from drones or missiles or whatever. But now it's like, oh, they're hiding. They're using the hospitals as a human shield. So we had to blow up the hospital because there might have been a troop there. Or maybe they were storing weapons of mass destruction under the hospital. So we had to blow it up. All right. The war pigs make no sense whatsoever. This is insanity. This is anybody that can do math understands what comes. And some of them are crying and some of them can't sleep at night. And if you're a war pig and thinking that this war is justified and that it's okay to sneak attack people when they're negotiating with you and kill their leader, okay. So it seems to me DC is no longer any kind of safe haven for diplomats or whatever, because the whole world is looking at the United States going, what the fuck? International law is now out the window. The New World Order is no order. War crimes, and apparently Our Lady of Grace and those others in the Red Hat Coalition can't seem to understand that you don't get to shoot white liberal women in the face, and bombing children and schools and hospitals are war crimes, and power plants and oil infrastructure and civilian stuff. They're not bombing military bases. And this whole thing looks like wag the dog to me. Like, seriously, wag the dog. You can't, most of the time, the propaganda, fact from fiction, very difficult to separate. Although there's been a couple of times, and it's been the Iranians, of course, that how can you be commenting when nobody's watching? It says 0. How can you be putting a like when no one's watching? Anyway. The idea is that these people have been doing what the fuck they want for the longest time, and there's no end to it. And the whole thing where he's playing 5D chess, and the whole thing, okay, both arguments. But like I said before I got distracted, when it comes to the propaganda from the Iranians, I used to build models when I was a child, lots of models. And their model battleships were my favorite, or one of my favorites, because then I'd take them down to the river. I used to live next to a river, and then we'd blow them up with firecrackers or sparklers or whatever. But anyway, they have a specific profile with the 3 turret. Right? There's usually 2, 3 turrets in the front, 1, 3 turret. That's like the Missouri or the Arizona or that kind of Iowa class battleship. There aren't any in the Persian Gulf, and they show this one getting blown up. And it even has a little plane, the old school plane, in between the conning tower and the smokestack. Okay, there's no ships like that in the, and they made it look like it was blowing up. Okay. Meantime, it was a laundry fire that took out the most expensive aircraft carrier ever built, actually the most expensive ship ever built on the planet. First, the sailors don't want to be part of this, so they were flushing and destroying the. That would be sabotage. Instead of putting a boot in the gears, they put t-shirts and towels down the heads, and they literally had these guys crapping over the edge for a while there. And then there was a laundry fire that took 30 hours to put out. Okay, no, it looks like they took a direct hit from I don't know what. But long story short, the Gerald Ford is out of the theater and probably out of commission for the next 19 months. Same thing, Abraham Lincoln is no longer in the theater. Okay, they're not going to admit anything. And I totally get. I totally get it. You're not going to let them know if they're successful. You're not going to give them any kind of anything confirmation on your part, right? And that also goes, I'm sorry to say, for dead soldiers. We're not going to admit United States Corporation, but anybody that is in the war zone, you're not going to let them know if they were successful creating casualties, or if they killed guys, or if they wounded. Nothing, none of that. Now, Americans want to know what their sons and daughters and brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers are doing in the Middle East, but it's war, and the fog of war is the fog of war. You don't get to know everything because in war, information is priceless. And see, they could also be scheduling hits and so forth based on that information. So you just don't give them the information in the first fucking place. Okay, that I get. But the idea that we've killed thousands and thousands of civilians, and those numbers are probably understated also because they don't want to look like the monsters they are. And then on the other hand, is Iran inflating the numbers of civilian casualties? Don't know. But the idea that it's been thousands, there's more, right? And so talking about the fact that, I mean, they're executing dissidents. So fucking what? Not our country, not our problem, not, right? That doesn't mean our troops have to die because they're executing dissidents. Period. It's not our problem, not our Kuliana. But we made it our Kuliana. And now they want to talk about doing some kind of ground invasion. And here's the thing: if you read Sun Tzu, threat of attack usually as good as attack. And I believe that they tried one. And see, there's an air woman, not an airman, but a air woman that's missing, and not a word about her. They showed her ID and they showed some other personal effects, but they didn't show the woman. So did she burn up and die in a fire? Was she captured? Was she, who knows? Not even talking about it. Is she a POW? That would be the fucking worst thing ever. But the idea that we had planes shot down after they assured the American people that we knocked out all of their stuff. Their infrastructure is gone. They can't make war. They can't. We killed their Navy. We killed everything. We've won this war. F-35 shot down. F-15 shot down. The laundry list. Two C-130s. Okay, so clearly they weren't doing an extraction with C-130s. You don't need two of them to get one guy, unless you're carrying lots of troops, which they were. And you don't. They lost A-10s. That is one of the most feared weapons on the battle, and they knocked down two A-10s, and apparently with fucking handheld missiles or surface-to-air missiles that were like bazookas. In other words, a guy crawled out of a hole someplace with one of these on his shoulder and knocked an A-10 out of the sky. And that guy's going to get a medal from the Iranians. Okay, they didn't do it once, they did it twice. And then they knocked down Blackhawks. I think 4 of those. Okay, billions and billions just in that one fiasco. Billions in Bahrain. They say that there is no United States, because this is the other thing. They're not Americans. It's United States. Those are United States citizens with a US on their lapel. It doesn't say USA. Those are not USA Marines. Those are not USA Navy. It's not USA Air Force. It's not USA Army. Those are not USA paratroopers. That's US. You are corporate military. Your sons and daughters, your mothers and fathers, your brothers and sisters have joined the corporate military and signed their name on documents which gave away all of their unalienable God-given rights in return for UCMJ. Now, would that be 10 USC? Would be the one that applies. And see, now, as I'm looking forward, what you need, I have a nom de guerre. Crouton Ramon is not the nom de guerre. 100th Monkey is not the nom de guerre. The nom de guerre is Ben H. Rogers. I need to surrender the nom de guerre. You can have it. I'm making claims to all that and all that other stuff, but I'm surrendering the name. And then you got to find out the whole thing. And now I begin to see, is based on the concept of freedom of religion. So you fucking heathens out there, you're screwed. Like screwed. Like they punish you and for your own good because you're heathens. I don't agree, but I understand the concept. Okay, they punish me for my own good. The idea that these lying lawyer scum fucks consistently use the concept of, oh, we're incompetent. Wherever you are, I don't care what state you're in, go find out if the judge who has anything to do with you has an oath of office. Or if it has anything to do with anybody you know, just send a letter in. Use a Freedom of Information Act request. There's a form to do it. I showed you. You're going to have to do this, and they're going to fuck with you but you're going to have to use these. Why are you going to have to use these? Because they'll lose it otherwise. I sent certified, and they lost the mail. No, they just lost it. Right. When I tried to get a second notice, because I wanted to do 3-step process wherein I proved that, they can't show an oath of office because they don't have an oath of office. So they're doing private business. So you can make claims at the federal level against the ones that are doing private business and masquerading as public officials and masquerading as U.S. citizens. Okay. But the war thing, guys, you're war pigs. If you're in support of this, and see, what I understand, even Mark Dice, he did a poll of his client, followers or whatever, viewership. And don't tell me that Mark Dice is Democrats. Mark Dice is MAGA all the way. And mostly the ones that, if they're Democrats or what do you call liberals, they're watching just so they can fuck with them. They're haters. He doesn't have a large crew of liberals or Democrats watching him. It's red hats and MAGA and conservatives mostly. He did a poll, 76% against. 76. And it wasn't like 5 guys. It was thousands. I should be able to, you can find that here, actually. Go look at Mark Dice's channel. Because they're trying to tell you that, it's 100, MAGA's 100% in support and MAGA loves this and that. No, MAGA voted for peace. MAGA believed this jab daddy son of a bitch when he told them that there wasn't going to be continuous war. When that was it, that we were done in the Middle East spending blood and treasure. Nope, more blood and treasure. Now he wants 200 billion. Let's see, 300 billion in Iran. No, excuse me, 200 billion in Iran, 300 billion in Ukraine. You can't keep up. 100 billion like a year for Israel. Okay, so right there's 600 billion. Let's skip it. We'll just say 500 billion. Just that number is insane. That's $500 billion. But 500 billion just on useless, senseless wars. And I was telling people, if they only get 1/10 of 1% in greed and graft and line their pockets with it, how much is 1/10 of 1% of $200 billion? Billion with a B. More money than most of you will ever make in your lifetimes. In fact, everybody watching this combined in your lifetime, you will probably not make 1/10 of 1% of $200 billion. Never mind 500 billion or 6 or 7 or a trillion. So what I'm saying is that they can line their pockets with a tiny percentage of the funds because the amount of funds is so large. And oh, it's a program for God knows. Oh, we overcharge for whatever equipment. Okay, we found huge amounts of graft. I didn't do anything. Who was it? Doge found incredible graft. Computers that were just printing money. The idea that this is somehow a masterful plan is ludicrous. It's senseless. And pretty much every pundit I talk to or watch on YouTube, I only talk to a couple of pundits personally, but mostly it's YouTube watching. They also senseless, unnecessary, stupid. The adjectives are not brilliant and oh, it's time and oh, 47 years of. Okay, study your history first off. I'm not even going to spend too much time on it, but if you study the history of Iran, the West is not the good guys, and for them to say otherwise is ludicrous for anybody that has a moral compass and can read a little history. The guys in Iran basically said, no, we want the oil for ourselves, not for you guys. You don't get to rape our oil and not pay us. The Iranian oil on Iranian soil is for Iranians and for their benefit. Oh, can't have that. Can't have them nationalizing oil, just like can't have Mexico nationalizing silver, which is coming. We can talk about silver and the fact that everybody seems to think, oh, it's right. They just gloss over the fact that we had a day where 2 and 2 equals 5. That wasn't, oh, it needed to correct. That was them naked shorting hundreds of billion. And that's another thing, you fucking Prometheus watchers. If he was really wanting to get rid of the bankers, and all he'd have to do is let silver run. Just regulate silver the way it's supposed to be. Don't allow them to naked short billions and billions of ounces that don't exist. Don't allow, and the banks would fall. But no, that's not what this is about. They're making ludicrous amounts of money, and they're working on the transition from paper and silver, and holding out this thing. Oh, look, we got stable coins. What are stable coins? Stable coins are the least stable. It's paper. It's treasury notes. U.S. Treasury notes, which pretty much soon aren't going to be worth the paper they're written on at this rate. Do we just go look at the national death clock? But anyway, the idea that the Iranians somehow are the bad guys because they're the terrorists and they chant death to America. Yeah, death to America. I get it. I'm an American, so not too pleased about it, and not too pleased about the fact that it turns out that they had tech that apparently the United States wasn't aware of. They didn't think that they could hit their ships. They didn't think that they could knock their planes out of the sky. They thought that they were just going to roll over like they have everybody else. Afghanistan, which is nowhere near as advanced as Persia. Same thing, Iraq. Right? The Persians have a solid culture going back thousands of years, which means that, yes, they do, in fact, have underground that they had for thousands, just like in Cappadocia in Turkey. And by the way, Turkey's like the next guys on the list, and they know it. So they're selling gold and getting ready too. Do we really have a issue with the Turks? Apparently we do. They're sitting on Constantinople, by the way. But the idea is that, oh, wait, it's no longer Constantinople. And they're pissed about that. But the idea that the Persians and the IRG needed punishing, which is why they killed their daughters, because that was a school next to a military base where you had a lot of commanders. And so they killed their daughters. They killed their kids as punishment for standing up to the West, for demanding that they get their own oil. And then they called it incompetence. Oh, it was because of AI. Oh, it was this. No, it's because they're fucking satanic pedophiles that fuck their food before they eat it, and you fucking know it. It wasn't an accident. They killed those children on purpose, and they double tapped them to teach those naughty Iranians a lesson. This is what happens when you stand up against us. And some of you war pigs are cool with that. And some of the war pigs are cool with the fact that just with the amount of destruction that's happened, and I can name the different refineries and so forth, but just with if we stopped today in the ceasefire that was complete bullshit, and everybody knew it was bullshit. But anyway, if we had a ceasefire and turned around and started trying to fix and build everything and let all the ships through this, we're still fucked. There's still hundreds of millions of people that are going to die. Probably like 1.6 billion is the low estimate, about 20% of the population. That depends on oil and petrochemicals. And when I say petrochemicals doesn't just mean oil or gas or natural gas. Petrochemical, all the stuff that comes from those refineries, helium and nitric acid and sulfuric acid. And I know you guys don't think that nitric acid is important, but you can't refine silver without nitric acid. You can't turn it from 3.9 to 4.9 to 5.9 without nitric acid. It doesn't happen just with heat. There was a little issue with nitric acid for a while there. Still is, actually. Sulfuric acid. Helium. What happens when there isn't enough helium to make the high tech? Because you can't use oxygen. You need helium. You need a pristine environment for some of those chips. What happens when those chips stop coming? Not because of China, not because the helium isn't flowing. So they can't make stuff. We have to sit back. I'm about to go sun gaze. It's what is it? It's 3:22. Of course it is. But I'm about to go sun gaze. And when you sun gaze, you can sit there and contemplate what are the ramifications of not having these chips, because they're in cars, they're in devices, they're in electronics, they're in everywhere. They're in a lot of places where you wouldn't think. Okay, and then we have the small issue of in about 2 days, there's going to be places that receive their last shipment of oil from the Persian Gulf. Because that's about how long it takes for the oil to get from there in the Persian Gulf to wherever it's going. And some of these places are panicking because literally in 2 days, there's no more coming. Okay, and this is Australia, this is Philippines, this is Vietnam, this is Thailand, this is Japan, this is Korea, this is insanity, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Nepal, India. Many of these places depend on what comes through the Strait of Hormuz. And right now, it doesn't even matter. Because a lot of the places that we're going to send, fill up the ships to go through the Strait of Hormuz have been destroyed. Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, UAE, Qatar, all these places, and our bases all around there turned out to be a huge liability, and the great Satan lied, right? And the Iranians are teasing their Sunni brothers who believe the great Satan could protect them. And now having a military base, Hawaii, is a liability. Because having a U.S. military base, when the world hates you, and we've got Chinese, Russia. They tried to kill whoever's playing Vladimir Putin. Yeah, the story goes that they were saying, hey, you should stay there in the safe room, and we're getting ready to have this conversation. So hang out for a bit, and we'll be right there. And so while he was there, they attacked the place that he was supposed to be at. Okay, they did the same more than once with Iran. And the last time it wound up killing the Ayatollah, and he martyred himself because it makes a great story. He wasn't going to go hide. So now he's a martyr who gave them a martyr and killed schoolgirls on the first day. And then you expect that this is going to go swimmingly right? Oh, he's playing 5D chess. He's actually trying to take down the cabal and make sure that they can't use Iran as a... Yeah, this is Operation Warp Speed, Jab Daddy Miracle Ear. They lied about that. They lied about all of that. They did some reality TV for everybody involved. Oh, that's crazy conspiracy theory. No. Anybody with a brain and who watched a little slow motion and spent some time on that, no. Same thing, Charlie Kirk story. Oh, and then here, isn't this great? While all this is going on, the bullshitters at NASA are telling you Negroes in space. We got Negroes in space. Negroes in space. It's pathetic and embarrassing. They are lying. We know they're lying. They know we know they're lying. We know they know we know they're lying. And they still keep lying. And that's just one of the many lies. All right, I haven't done this on this channel. Yeah, I'll put that right here. Talked about this a little bit already. Okay, but now it's time. See, and this is the thing, Americans don't read. I read someplace where the average person reads like 3 books past high school. Okay. This one, basically what this says, long story short, is strategy is important, more important than tactics. But there's a difference between strategy and tactics. Okay, strategy, tactics is how you carry out your strategy. Anyway, this book right here. This is not as thick a book, and it's got lovely annotations. I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't because it's too bright. I guess you can. There you go. All right. So, but the idea is this book, we read this so many times, and between me, my sons, and so on, this was actually, we borrowed it, and we had to buy a new one to give back to the person because I didn't want to give their book back looking like this. Because this. Anyway, read this. This is a good one also. And these are written by men who know what the fuck they're talking about, generals and, people of military men, not guys that dodged the draft and went to, ROTC. But anyway, he talks about the fact that it's a new world. And the way we're projecting force now is obsolete. And then this is just a classic. See, what they have, or what we have, is satanic pedophiles who worship Kali, who have tricked you into dressing up in funny costumes and creating sacrifice for Kali. Basically, that's what's going on right now. All of that is considered sacrifice to Kali. That's part of the reason why the innocents at the girls' school were killed, because sacrifice to Kali. And nobody wants to talk about that because that's crazy conspiracy theory. They're not worshiping the older gods and fucking children and fucking their food or anything. That's not happening. That's crazy talk. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, look, we have Epstein files that have been released. And see, this is the other thing. I know for a fact Iranian hackers are all that in a bag of chips, and they haven't released the Epstein files. They use it in their propaganda, but why don't they release the unredacted Epstein files? I'm pretty confident they have them. But they don't, because it's theater. In United States corporation, you've got Republicans and Democrats playing both sides against the middle. Republicans and Democrats fucking the average American. But because you try to think that, it's 2 things. It's not 2 things. It's 1 thing. It's the United States corporation, a foreign invader on U.S. soil. Excuse me, on American soil. There is no U.S. soil. Can't even find U.S. Brandon Joe Williams has tried. The old B-Craft try. There's been a bunch of guys that tried to find U.S. corporation. You can't find it. Where is it? Where is U.S. soil? Even in D.C. Anyhow, the idea that these guys have any idea what they're doing, or don't have any idea what they're doing, is complete nonsense. They know exactly what they're doing. They're creating sacrifices to Kali. They're lying like they always do, calling it, it's war. No, it's sacrifice. They're Zionists. The Zionists in Iran and the Zionists in England and the Zionists, they're putting on a great show. Oh, we're not going to take part in this one. The Zionists in United States, there's Zionists everywhere. And the one thing they agree on is secrecy. And they worship all manner of elder gods. Hero with a Thousand Faces, there's Luciferians, there's Satanists, there's the ones Moloch and Baal, there's the Baphomet, and there's, depending on who you talk to, just like the churches in the United States, or, well, 501c3s, but just like Christians, there's Catholics. And by the way, what's the Pope have to say, you fucking Catholics? What the popes have to say about this? Oh, but all of a sudden now you don't listen to the Pope because you're a war pig. So the Pope's, of course, being sanctimonious and being right. No, he's not. He's against war crimes because, believe it or not, the ecclesiastical government of the Vatican can't really condone war crimes. They may, under the surface, be one thing, but in the public eye, they cannot condone war crimes. Although I see plenty of red hats condoning war crimes, fucking blowing my mind with, well, whatever needs to be done, ends justifies the means. They are just as unserious as the Democrats. They can't figure out this motherfucker just tried to kill them with Operation Warp Speed. Fucked up our military hard, and now they're wasting the military in Iran. The same way Hitler wasted his military in Russia, the same way Napoleon wasted his military in Russia. Get rid of the military. Destroy the French, who were liberty-minded. Destroy the Germans, who were independent and liberty-minded. They had high culture, despite what they fucking tried to tell you. And then what happened? They wound up prostitution, homosexuality. Again, same thing like in the United States, pornography for children, pornography with children in it. Yeah, they were burning those books. Yes, they were. And then they try to make it sound like they were burning history books, or they were burning important, literature and philosophy. No, they were burning porn, which needs to happen in the United States, because I've been to some of the libraries, and you should be ashamed that your child is attending a school that has some of the shit that's in those libraries. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10-year-old kids shouldn't have access to that, period. And the fucking liberals want to tell you that it's censorship. You don't hate them enough, by the way. Okay, and again, you don't hate them enough because now all of a sudden they're anti-war. If this was fucking Kamala or Biden or Obama, they were fucking silent when Obama was just droning the fuck out of everybody and killing U.S. citizens in extrajudicial murder. They call it execution. No, it's murder. Silent. Psst. Can't hear a fucking thing from you fucking shit for brains Democrats. Not a fucking word. But now it's Trump. Now you're going to make noise. Okay. And you want to be taken seriously on top of everything else. And you wonder why you're not taken seriously, because you're unserious people. Just like the red hats can't, just like the Democrats couldn't figure out that, yes, there was child trafficking going on and the Democrats had a big part of it, is the same way the Republicans can't figure out that, yes, the Republicans are also involved in trafficking. The Republicans are also, not all of them, not as many, but still, and more than enough know about it. And we know that when it came to the Epstein files and WikiLeaks, that COVID was a scam. And they knew that those shots were harmful, to include Donald Trump. He wasn't ignorant. And they're not going to admit it. He's not going to change horses. So he just got done trying to kill you motherfuckers, and now you send your sons and daughters off for rotten apple juice based on his opinion. Tulsi Gabbard told him no, and many others in intelligence told him no. They don't have a nuclear bomb. Why don't they have a nuclear? Since I was fucking 10 years old, they've been talking about a nuclear bomb in Iran. And I know it's at least 10 years, because I remember this is 1974. I was in 4th grade. And there was a little, Iran's going to have a nuclear, because they used to scare us with nuclear. Oh, there's going to be nuclear war, right? Because they want loosh, right? That was a whole other thing with we're going to bomb them into oblivion. We're going to change, right? Because everybody went to nukes, and everybody started, and the masters sucked that stuff up. But the idea that somehow the Democrats now are moral, no, it's just that it's Trump, so they're against it. If it was the other guys, okay. And then I'm going to go with 70%, 75%. So like 90% of the Democrats and like 75% of the Republicans. So what does that mean? That means we're going to have to trump up some support. And the way we're going to trump up some support is by telling you that the Iranians, I don't know, blew something up or whatever it was. If it's a nuke goes off on U.S. soil, if an MP, if just a regular bomb that takes out a power plant or power structure, because they talk about how fragile our energy structure is. And we've had years to fix it, and nobody does because we spend $200 billion on fucking war, but not $200 billion on shoring up the electrical grid in the United States, or 300 billion on fucking Ukraine, but no money to shore up the electric. And then let's talk about water. You want to talk about water? No, you don't want to talk about water. Spending hundreds of dollars on filters because the water here is so bad it makes my girlfriend sick, even after I double filter it. I've showed you the dimes and I showed you the shit that comes out of the taps here in Phoenix, Arizona. Because we ain't got money for that, but we got 100 million to send to the fucking Israelis. And what do the Israelis do? There's a lot of Israelis that are settlers. They don't fucking work. They live off of tax dollars, U.S. tax dollars. Quit feeding the beast, first off. But see, they're trying to make it impossible for you to. And then, let's talk about this for a minute. I hear all manner of people talking about how we're not going to pay our taxes because taxation without revenue. We don't believe in this war and Trump and COVID. I don't know, whatever excuses they come up with when they're trying to wax philosophical about why they shouldn't pay their taxes. How about because they don't apply to you? How about learning the fucking law and finding out about United States corporation and Americans and the fact that you get to keep all of it because it doesn't apply to you? Okay, so then you got to read some code and statute. But the idea is that if you paid tax last year and you decide just to not pay tax this year, you're going to wind up paying more tax in the long run, or you're going to go to jail. Like, they don't fuck around. And you being a tax, protesting by not paying your tax, which they can't really call you a tax protester, but that's what you're doing. You're protesting by not paying your taxes, is going to cause you grief and harm. But if you understand, oh, by the way, Title 26 is not positive law. And by the way, Title 26, the secrets are there. But anyway, Title 26 and the IRM, all those codes with the dots. Yeah, you need to read some of those, unfortunately. And that's the whole point. They make it huge and voluminous so that you spend too much time. Because one of the things they love doing is wasting your time, which is why SPC University, which is why Anna Von writes, which is why even Patrick Devine, too much information, more information than you can get through in any kind. So you have so much information, you don't act. But anyway, the idea is that Title 26 is not positive law, and you should know what that means by now. And if it's not positive law, then it only applies to a certain class of people. And if you can show that you're not a class of persons that law applies to, then you don't owe the tax, which my sons have both done. And we had one fuckwit that was taking tax out of one of my boys' paychecks when they shouldn't have. And he told them, and he pulled out the paperwork, and they still kept doing it until such time as he actually went to the IRS. Because believe it or not, once you get your shit together and you're not fucking just, ignorant and throwing conspiracy theory around, and you actually know the law and you understand internationally protected persons and you understand the difference between American and US and all that, the IRS actually, they are pretty solid and they're one of your best friends. Because guess what? All these judges without oaths of office, they don't pay their taxes. Anyhow, because those CUSIP numbers and bonds. But when they don't pay their taxes, nobody makes any noise. I was talking to one lady where they're administering what is it? It's basically Americans administering U.S. citizens who are public servants. There you go. And they can't keep up because there's so much. There's 350 million of us, and there's only a few thousand IRS guys and only a few thousand. And when I say few, 30,000, do the math when it comes to how many IRS agents is that per US citizen. It's ridiculous, the ratio. Because it takes a formidable administrative branch or agency to administer all of this. And the administration is huge. And right now, it's the Epstein administration. This is the pedophile administration. And the pedophile protectors are protecting pedophiles. I watched them do it firsthand, my own self, when I spent time in Forest Association right here in Maricopa. This is Maricopa County, not county of Maricopa, you fucks. I know the difference. I'm not in state of Arizona. I'm standing, well, actually, I'm sitting on Arizona State. And you're a juristic fictional entity. And see, when you know stuff like that, they don't want to talk to you. And they'll, try to hammer you by force, but they can't beat you in a court of law. So they don't invite you into a court of law. My sons don't get invited into a court of law. Right? And I've told them, you don't be an ass. The guy asks you for your ID, you show him your ID. And if you don't have one, you tell him you don't have one on you at the time, but you should know the numbers on that 5-star passport by heart and say, hey, just run this number for me. And I know a lot of other people where they're just calm, cool, and collected, run this. And sure enough, they come back, oh, have a nice day. A couple of times my sons have been chastised. You should get a license. Or I don't know what's going on. Like they're enjoying. See, and this is the thing, impetuous teenagers. But what they have figured out is that, they can't really, the statutes they're trying to apply do not apply, and they have told them so. Okay, law still applies. No one's above the law. You don't get to be recklessly endangering people in your vehicle. You don't get to be drunk. You don't get to be I know guys that they want to get into this so they can commit murder and get away with it because they think that they're going to get diplomatic immunity because, okay, no. The short answer is no. The law is the law. And see, this is the thing. When you start to understand a few basic principles, you won't fucking do stupid shit like, I'm not paying my taxes because I don't agree with the war. Like I said, that's just going to wind because they will wear you down. And see, this is the other thing, as my sons have traveled now around United States, infinite money. They print the money. They can fuck with you forever. There'll always be another bureaucrat to come say hi on your farm or whatever the fuck it is until they figure out that, they got to leave this one alone because it's an internationally protected person and others may come down on their heads. But if you want to be a lone renegade, and this is the other thing people are starting to figure out, and I'm guilty of the thing, of running off and starting your own homestead all by yourself out in the middle of nowhere, they'll pick you up. Simple as that. They love that. You in your cabin out in the woods. Yeah, they love that. Nobody even to witness it usually if they come and kill you. Okay, you need community. You need friends and family. And see, I'm finding out a lot of my friends, I don't want to be friends with them. They're war pigs. Right? And there are some guys with friends like them, I don't need enemies. But fuck the fucking war pigs. Two things I told my sons: don't be a cop, because that comes with all kinds of stuff. That doesn't mean you don't want to serve your community. That doesn't mean you don't want your community to be safe. Which I have friends who have sons or who were like they're my age now. They went in thinking one thing and then it turned out to be another. They thought they were going to serve their community. They thought they were going to bust people for selling crack to children. That's not what happens. And then they find out about brotherhoods and lodges and all kinds of stuff. And then the other thing is military, because you become property of the United States corporation. Like literally you become their property, and you sign multiple times saying that you understand that you are now government property. Okay. Once you become government property, well, all this is out the window when we talk about not, anyway. But the idea is that if you are going to not pay taxes, you better do it right. And see, this would be a great time to find out about 5-star passports on the 5-star passport page at Crudes on Ramon's House of Math. You might want to spend some time in the room. I'm all pleased because it has nothing to do with 100 Monkey, but I built some pages about pre-calculus, and I'm pretty pleased with them because the average Joe can go there and learn pre-calculus. Y equals mx plus b. But anyway, that's not the page you want to go to. You want to go to the 5-star passport page that talks about the fact that once you understand a few things, you're not liable for the tax because law doesn't apply to you. Not state, not federal, not local. The difference between like all their assumptions, how many assumptions have they made? Like one of the best things I saw, and see, you can't do this if you've got a driver's license that doesn't have any kind, right, that has a, what is it called, a naked endorsement. Most people don't know anything about endorsements, but if you didn't put ARR or AR, oh, pirates, R. See, it's a joke among them. ARR, all rights reserved. That'd be R. AR, authorized representative. Okay, and then the idea that perhaps maybe you find out about naked endorsements and how not to just give them money because it's your signature. It's all about. I found this out again, first fucking hand, because that's the kind of guy I am. I got to go see for myself. So yeah, they cannot proceed if they don't have your name, and they absolutely want that social security number in your signature because then they can go to your trust account that doesn't exist and pull money out because they can go to the Fed window and, oh, look, we got this promise to pay. Okay, banks do it, loan companies do it, IRS does it. Rarely, mostly they want your labor, but IRS will, in fact, take a bill of exchange. But you got to do it right, and you got to be qualified. You got to be a person that can give them. Not everybody can. Anyway, and well, that's not true. Everybody can, but you got to fill your. You got there's paperwork to be done first. Can't just out of the blue go, hey, I got this bill to change, and be like, who the fuck are you? But the idea that you don't pay tax because you don't agree with the war, great, I'm all for it. But don't say that you're not paying tax just because you don't agree with the war. Say that you are not one of the persons to whom the statute applies, or that you don't have income, or you could use the. But you see, and this is a lot of people. Well, it's a voluntary tax, so I'm not volunteering. Okay, yes, that can be part of your argument, but that can't be your whole argument. But it is, in fact, correct, wrong but true, as we say in Hawaii, that you have the ability to say no because it's supposed to be a voluntary system, but it's not. It's like they try to say stopping at a stop sign is voluntary. But if you don't stop at a stop sign, you're going to get a ticket or you could have an accident. It's not the same at all. Not even close. Say false. What's the word? Oh shoot, it's escaping me at the moment. But anyway, and see, because when you turn on the video, it makes that slight stress and you can't get to the information. But anyway, the idea that it's a false comparison. Because no, it's voluntary means voluntary. And it's supposed to be 100%. Yeah. Do you get paid to fill out all the paperwork? Nope. You volunteer. In fact, you have to volunteer to be a U.S. citizen. You're not just a U.S. citizen automatically, and they're trying to change that 100%. My sons have been very interested. I haven't been keeping track. I haven't been paying attention to that, but my sons have been very interested in the whole birthright citizenship thing, and they've been into that. And then once in a while, they call me up and we talk about it. But the idea being is that there's a lot of clues there when it comes to the birthright citizenship argument and understanding citizenship and nationality and all of that. And yeah, the statutes tell you directly. And then they try to confuse that. The difference between US national or American citizen and US citizen. They're going to try and say there's no difference. Yes, there is a difference, but you need to be able to delineate it and explain it. And then once you can do that, hopefully you can explain why it's voluntary. Because for some US, it's not voluntary. And for some sources of income, not voluntary, you got to pay tax. Okay. We have many more things to talk about, but I think I'd rather go sun gaze because it's sun gazing time. Okay, now here's the other thing with sun gazing. And also, I need to make huge amounts of videos about urine because now I've been studying and experimenting and fooling around. And yeah, there needs to be everything you're going to see on the internet, everything about sun gazing is a lie. I should be blind. Yesterday, yeah, it was yesterday. I was driving to Costco, my favorite place. And the streets in Phoenix are north, south, east, west. And I was going right near sunset. So I was heading into the sunset and the sun was like directly in front of me. and I wasn't blind. Why? Because I've been staring at the sun. I've been looking at the sun forever. Years now. It's been like 5 years now that I've been sun gazing. Okay, maybe 6 years. But the idea is that yeah, organs getting better. Vision has definitely improved. I notice when I don't feel well, sun gazing will definitely help. Although sometimes the effects are temporary. Like as soon as you get out of the sun, you go back to being sick. But I've been doing a lot of detoxing and using sun gazing. And sun gazing allows your eyes to strengthen. So, like I said, facing the sun in the middle of the day, I had to squint a little bit, but not much because I'm used to looking that way. So I wasn't blind when I was traveling toward. And then the other thing with sun gazing, oh my God, the night vision. Holy cow, the difference in the night. I'm amazed at it's like night and day. No, but I mean, the difference between my night vision and my night vision now is amazing. I hadn't really noticed because I don't drive at night that much. Not because I'm afraid to drive at night or anything, but I'm not out and about at night. But a couple of times I have been out and about at night, and I have been amazed at again because the bright lights and all the other. Anyway, everything sharper, clearer, not as difficult to see through the glares and so forth. Okay, I can't say enough about sun gazing, but don't be stupid. You sun gaze in the middle of the day, you're going to go blind. Period. You sun gaze at noontime, I don't care how black your skin is and how much melanin you have, right? And I've been sun gazing for, if I sun gaze in the middle of the time, I will damage my retinas. Okay. But I can sun gaze a little earlier than most people, right? Like right now, it is 3:52 and sunset is at 6:52. So this is 3 hours ahead of time. That's too much. You want to do like an hour or 2 hours. But being out in the sun and getting some exercise now that we're past the heat of the day and we're going toward 4 o'clock, I'm not going to burn. And the sun feels good on your skin. And you can sit there and sun gaze. Usually the 1 hour after sunrise and the 1 hour previous to sunset. But if you sun gaze 3 hours before sunset, especially near the tropics, you're going to go blind. Now, if you're further north, you can probably get away with it, depending. And I don't have a formula. There is a formula someplace, but the idea is that the further north you go, the earlier you can sun gaze, and the later you can sun gaze. Where I am right now, I do about 2 hours. Whatever 2 hours before sunset is about when I go out, and then I usually sun gaze for about an hour of that 2 hours. Usually closer to sunset. Not now. Like right now, I'll be like maybe doing a few yoga poses and some, exercise, so on. And if it was wintertime, I'd be doing a cold plunge, but we had no winter this year. So we had cold plunges for just a very short period of time. But cold plunging, sun gazing, and just basic. I'm not some crazy yogi that can do all these crazy poses. And I see some of the stuff that some of the women can do with their bodies, and I'm very impressed, but I'll never get 62. No, I don't think I'm ever going to be that flexible again. Maybe. I've noticed that definitely my flexibility has increased with some exercising, and people have noticed that yeah, I'm starting to look right. Okay, I don't lift weights. I just do a few poses, and when I say a few poses, I mean a few poses. Like I don't have like a full fit. I have the book that's like this thick on all the different. There's yoga for your eyes. There's yoga for your ears. There's yoga for your mouth. There's yoga for your fingers. There's all kind of mudras. There's yoga for your body. There's different poses for different things. There's upper body poses and mid. What do you call? Torso and trunk training, and then back and lower back, and then your legs and thighs, and then even for your feet. Like there's yoga for every part of your body, stretching and keeping it healthy. And I don't do any of that. I do like a few poses, and it's amazing that the few poses I do, it's amazing. One of my neighbors, and this is the other thing I like about my living in Phoenix. One, everybody's got a dog. Everybody's got a dog. And I'm trying to read this thing down here, and I can't get it to. For some, maybe if I take these off. There you go. Let's see. Well, okay. Also, you monkey, I sent you an email and asked you for what the other password you wanted was, and you never responded to me. Go check your what do you call your spam folder or whatever, or send me another one at croutonramon4math@gmail.com. And if you want to get in, did you request? Because if you requested, did you use Chili Willy or what name did you use? Because I get hundreds of requests for that face. Well, not hundreds, but tens of requests for people that want to enter the Facebook group, and you don't get in for free. So, what name did you use? Yeah. Okay. Well, then, you need to tell me what it is, because, or at least the email that you used or whatever, and I will take care of it. In fact, I could do it right now. Look, I will go over to the Facebook page. I will mosey on over there. Look, live, YouTube live. And then we go over to, let's see here, admin assistant, nope. Badge requests, member requests. There you go. Book. And is it Junaid Hussein? That's the latest one that's requested. And it's been a week ago. You're right. Okay, and let's go back over here. Where am I saying? Okay, look, I'm gonna put you in right now. Book. Approve. Okay, once you get in there, okay, so you're approved. You can go in. Okay, go look over at the files. There's all kind of cool files and stuff. Like it's 99 math, but there's like some stuff that you might be interested in. Go look at the files section there. And for the rest of you, if you want to get into that page that he's talking about, Dala, right, on Patreon. Or in his case, what he did is he bought passwords, so that it's a gratis. But if you want to get in as cheaply as possible, $1 Patreon, and you get into the super duper super secret math page, which has hours of me teaching little ones math beyond their years, supposedly, where I'm teaching 8-year-olds algebra and calculus and so forth, like high school algebra and calculus. But it's easy. We're just playing, having fun. And then there's a few things on there about I put the government styles manual in there, so you can take a look at 522. I'm an Illinoisan. What are you? Where were you born? If you were born in one of the several states, and then here's another thing that they've been interested in, is because if you look at the government styles manual in section 522 on page, I believe it's 90, depending on which edition you have, and see, that's the thing, they've been comparing editions, is Hawaii keeps changing around. It was Hawaiian, but then the Hawaiian Kingdom had a problem with calling people that were born there Hawaiian that weren't actually Hawaiian, as in Native Hawaiian, which Native Hawaiian actually means Kinkuhio, you fuck, U.S. citizen. But what we're trying to say here is we want to differentiate between, say, my sons, where I have no Hawaiian blood whatsoever, indigenous people to those islands that got there a couple of, 1,000 years, whatever it was, a few hundred years ago, that were there before Cook was there. Those are the Hawaiians we're talking about. So then they changed it to Hawaiian resident or something like that. Not to be confused with resident of Hawaii. Anyway, they've changed the definition around. All the other 49 definitions, you're an Alaskan, you're a Texan, you're an Illinoisan, you're a Floridian, you're Ohio, what is it? Ohioan, whatever, New Yorker. And the styles man, I don't remember, it's New Yorker or a New Yorkin. I don't remember. But anyway, the idea is that it has it listed for every state. And see, being an Illinoisan makes me foreign to DC. Anyway, that's there at the super duper super secret math group, and a bunch of other stuff. Like I said, there's all kind of files. I think you're going to have a good time, and I think you're going to find your $50 was well spent. And then if you want to spend some time with me one-on-one like this, we can do a Google Meet or something like that, and I'll spend an hour with you and get you set up on your way. Okay, that's like personal business, but why not? Let's see here. I love it for the one person that's watching, because it says there's only one, except that you can tell there's more than one because there's multiple people here. Anyway, hold up. And I'm going to go sun gaze. You shouldn't go sun gaze because you'll go blind. And oh, don't use these kind of blue blockers. Like these are good for this, but there's a certain wavelength that you do want to block to start off with, and then see I wear these, and then I take them off, and then I sun gaze. And look, am I blind? I am not blind. I can read the fine print on this box. And then I didn't talk about this, and I can't even get these anymore because they were super cheap and they quit carrying them, so I have to buy another one. But anyway, the idea is find out about nicotine. I usually have nicotine patches whenever I go out in public, especially like the Walmarts or any place where there's like malls or any place where there's going to be a lot of muggles in one place. Take some nicotine, put it behind right here, there, and there, like 7. And then I don't have any on my arms either. Yes, I do. There you go. Oh, but you just can't see them. But I'm finding out. Let's talk about that for just a second. Rotator cuff issues. I'm 62. Many of my friends have had rotator cuff surgery and some kind of surgery on their shoulder and so forth because they've had all kind of frozen shoulder. Okay, it couldn't be because I got shot numerous times with various adjuncts in the arm, could it? Because when I started putting these on, and then I'm doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Like I said, we got to talk about urine. We got to talk about a whole bunch of other things for detoxing. But when I started doing a whole bunch of stuff, my girlfriend can tell you, you could see where I got shot. You could see where the needle marks were. And they started weeping and stuff started coming out of them. It wasn't like a pimple. It was like a hole and stuff was coming out. There's several of them here. If you directly inject mercury into your cartilage, could that cause problems over time? I believe it can. And that's what happened with my teeth, right? And you're going to see pretty soon I'm going to take care of this. And it's going to be super easy. Just prosthesis. I'm going to clip those things on, and then I'm going to have lovely teeth because that's important in our culture. There are people that were telling me that I should spend $15,000. If I'm going to spend $15,000, I'm buying silver. I'm not teeth. I'm 62. Fuck it. What? I mean, I'm not getting chicks. What? This is not what it's about. And I don't care how I look, clearly. So, the idea is that 15 grand on my teeth is stupid. A couple $100 though for some fake denture type things. My grandma had total dentures. And I knew lots of people in my family that had issues with their teeth. And I swear to God, the primary problem with my teeth was not taking care of them. But the time that I spent 143 days not being able to swish my mouth out with various things. Yeah, the mercury and other issues that I have in here got ahead of my gums. And yeah, now I have problems. And you can even hear it when I speak sometimes because of that lisp, because I don't have teeth there. But I'm getting rid of them. And it's been all home dentistry too. And the reason why they're this fucked up is because I won't go get the shots. Because if you look, can you see? And you look at the other side, you can see where they shot me up. Oh, and then here's the other thing, dude. What password do you want? So I gave you all the right. So I gave you one password. That was to McRae's page. What's the other password that you would like? Would you like the? Okay, well, you can figure it out in a bit and send me a thing. But my personal recommendation would be for, unless you want to be a teacher or trainer, right? Unless you want to actually start making money tutoring, then I would recommend module 2. But if you're doing it for personal and for your own family and stuff like that, module 3, the site-wide password, absolutely the most bang for your buck. What are the options? Okay, there's 7 passwords. And you should go to the Facebook and I'll go over all the different. I need to do that anyway. I need to make a video. You're correct. And see, this actually even motivates me to do it more. And I'll try to like put a shirt on and be a little more respectable. But the idea is that there's 7 different passwords. There's one for McRae. There's teacher training. There's 4 main passwords, module 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I did like 2 training passwords more. And then I did McRae's page. So there's like 7 specialty passwords. And those get you to like 200 different password protected pages inside my website. Okay. So anyway, I would say ask for site-wide, and then because that's the most bang for your buck, you get behind the most paywalls. Okay, enough of that. And like I said, time to go sun gaze. And e pluribus unum, we'll get through this. like everything else. They're trying to scare you with a nuclear war thing, and don't be. And then I'll try to make a couple more videos on this. I just haven't because I want to sit back and watch and see before I do. And then it turns out that I have right now. Let's just look just for fun. Rice Against the Grain. This is 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 42 seconds. This is the last level, one of the last lessons with KL. KL knows what fuck he's talking about. That's a good dude to talk about or talk to. Let's see. I watched that one. Here's Mike Maloney. It's 12 minutes, so I'll get through that one. Then here's the Federalist Papers and then the Anti-Federalist Papers. But the Federalist Papers, 22 hours of video where they basically read you the Federalist Papers. And then there's a Bad Wolf video I've got for another, that's a short one. And he was showing you how to use AI to do some of your stuff. And then here's the audio book of Aquarius. That's 10 hours. I've listened to it twice. I need to listen to it again. And then Secret Teaching of All Ages from Manly P. Hall. This is just part 2 of 4. And that's, what is it? 9 hours and 54 minutes and 54 seconds. So basically 10 hours. And I'm 7.5 hours away through that one. And let's see here. Then I've been listening to Don Kalam. I got to make a video about this guy. And the first video is going to be do better. You got to do better. You got to do better. But anyway, I like his attitude and him smoking pot and reading a lot of you. It's fucking awesome. And he's a student of Patrick Devine. And he figured out that, he's actually, I think, improved on some of Patrick Devine's things. Okay, and that's hours and hours because he's got so fucking many videos. I don't know how many in this playlist. There's probably, holy God, 30 or 40 hours of stuff to watch. And then, last but not least, I don't like this guy too much anymore, but I want to see what he has to say. Is the Dark Journalist, the Sphinx Atlantis Hall of Records Pyramid Breakthrough. I'm trying to watch that video. And that's, what is that? That's, it was supposedly live. So I don't know how long it is. Anyway, but it's like 2 hours again. So like I said, even at 2 times speed, I've got like 2 days of videos to watch. And there's always new videos to watch. So I appreciate when you guys spend the time with me because, time is precious. And taking time out of your video watching schedule to watch me goof around and rant. I appreciate it. And I especially appreciate the support for the guys that, got passwords and so forth. That was a pretty good sale. And I won't be having another one for a long time. You got a deal because it's, like I said, a lot more than that normally. Okay. I love it. Nobody's watching and I have 2 likes. So I hope you watch this at 2 times speed. Hit the like button. And maybe I'll make one coming up that's a little more concise and you can show it to your friends when it comes to the fact that hundreds of millions of people are going to die because of this nonsense. And it's not conspiracy, it's math. If you do the math on what's been disrupted already, it should bring tears to your eyes. People are going to suffer because of this. And the whole 5D chess. No, this war did not need to happen. Diplomacy is the way to go. War is not the way to solve anything. I believe it's a maxim of law, you fucks. Law abhors violence. Okay. E pluribus unum. Crouton Ramones. See, you got me talking about Crouton Ramones. It's not Crouton Ramones. This is 100 Monkey. Oh, look, here I am. 100. Oops, go this way. This is me fucking with our friends. Instead of being between Jacob and Boaz, I'm between Bob and Bob. Between 2 Bobs instead of between 2 ferns or between 2 plants or between 2 trees. Anyhow, you pluribus unum. I'll talk to you guys soon. Be looking on Facebook. I'll be making videos for math and so forth. And I'm probably going to make one under the nom de guerre also. Okay. Let's call this a day. And suddenly, oops. Suddenly I don't know how to end the thing. That's funny. Anyway, we'll cut it like this. E pluribus unum, crazy stoppers. Yeah, because my buttons all change down here for some reason. This happens once in a while. Anyway, take it easy, Crime Stoppers. Talk to you again soon. I'm going to go sun gaze.